Welcome to the Pimp My Setup highlights for episode number 111. The first setup was submitted by Niles. Yeah, maybe if you want to have the speakers up there and you want to for some reason explain to me that that was a good spot for them, sure. But to have the actual interface up there, come on, give me a break. You can't actually use that, and it's easy to use because I don't think I've seen like a zebra themed setup in the black and white, like that contrast look. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Maybe some art under the shelves, like I'm thinking one on the left of the wire mold, one on the right.
It's kind of hard to be unique when you have when you're going for like a minimalist design.
Yeah.
So this is cool. He has zebras, like safari theme going on, but you know, lots of tweaks can be done. Lots of room for improvement, definitely.
Nile scored an 84. The next setup was submitted by Micah. At first glance, I just love the atmosphere that it has. You know, the LEDs really help. The posters are really cool. The swords, knowing that you made them makes it even cooler. And it seems like you put a lot of your own work into it, crafting the desk, the monitor riser. It's all very custom, which is awesome. You know,
those little wires below the monitor, you know, it can be tidied up so easily. It's just, it kind of boggles my mind, like why you would put so much time and effort into building this, you know, dream setup of yours, and then just skimp on the wire management.
And I saw another comment. Someone said it lacks a color theme, and sure, there's no distinct red all through the setup. There's no distinct blue, but I like that.
I like it.
Yeah, you know, every setup doesn't need to have a color theme, but this theme has is like focused around what he loves: soccer, comics, making stuff, swords, whatever the hell those things are. Micah scored an 87. The next setup was submitted by Jason. So you usually see like a setup in this part of the room with this kind of furniture, and it's usually a mess, but this guy took it to a new level. Yeah, he's working with a lot of tight space in certain areas, like the monitors don't really fit, his legs may not be the best, but he made it work, and it looks pretty comfortable to use. He's got a great display of theme.
It has a cohesive theme, like that old school Art Deco, you know, Bioshock-esque theme going on, and the desk totally matches that. The color of the carpet, the walls, the frames, everything. That's why we got that. Wow. I'd like to commend this setup because we have so many setups today that look the same. You know what I mean? There's a certain aesthetic that everyone follows. You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of good setups out there right now, but I really have to commend people who aren't afraid to be different.
Jason scored an 88. The next setup was submitted by Drew.
The problem isn't that he couldn't do more, it's just he should do a lot less. I am extremely overwhelmed by this picture, just looking at it, and I feel kind of stressed out already.
Things like the Star Wars thing on the desk, that's awesome, but that should be hung up on the wall. Out of sight, out of mind. Are you literally playing with that arcade thing on the right side, that little white and blue thing as well? Like, are you constantly doing something with that? If not, put it in one of the drawers, get it out of there. And really, it's not a bad setup considering your circumstances, and I feel like with a little bit of decluttering, this can be like a 90 setup. For sure. Drew scored a 73. The next setup was submitted by Nick.
My thoughts on the monitors, it's fine that you know, they're not all the same size. They're all aligned. You know, the TV, it's okay. I think it could be a little lower.
You know, and the cables just kind of kill it. If the cables were nice and the whole setup had a little bit more life to it, I feel like the setup would be insane. But it just goes to show you can pour, you know, $10 million into your setup, but if the cables are all over the place, it's kind of an eyesore. Nick scored a 70. The next setup was submitted by Jonathan. The curtains, the blinds, like all that, just really, really nice. The window layout is awesome. The desk fits in perfectly, matches the whole room. Really, really, really like that part of it. Triple monitors, really, really nice. Great peripherals. I mean, mouse pad looks a little bit, the extended mouse pad looks a little bit small when it comes to actually like moving the mouse around, but you know, the cables like pretty good. You could scotch tape the one so it's not hanging out, but for the most part it's like, wow, this is really, really clean. But there's also like, out of sight, out of mind doesn't mean get rid of everything off your desk. It means keep only what you use on a daily basis. So from what I see, he has no speakers.
It's way too bare. You know, it's just like he purposely cleaned it up just for taking this photo. I mean, this is an example of setups that look expensive but actually are not,
that is true.
Because people have executed it have designed it in such a way wherein, you know, they achieve what they want. They have a clear vision of their aesthetic.
Jonathan scored an 84. The next setup was submitted by Sarah.
But for me personally, I don't like all the clutter.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of putting pop vinyls on top of the console. I think that, you know, is pretty bad for airflow. But you know, I'm just nitpicking. It's a great setup. It's a great setup. A TV could use an upgrade.
Especially when that's your main part of the setup. You know, that's you would expect to have some crazy ass curved UHD TV of sorts. The furniture itself, like, it doesn't match, which is also like frustrating to me. Sarah scored an 82. The next setup was submitted by JJ. And the off-white wall really irritates me. I said that already, but like, it kind of makes it look gross. Like, maybe the white balance is off.
I really agree with that sentiment about the walls. If he really fixes the color of the walls, this will look, you know, totally amazing.
Nice and slick, but the whites clash. It's as simple as that. That's really what it is. It's a clean, dope ass setup. Yeah, and I give you props for being able to do what you've done. JJ scored an 89. The final setup was submitted by Joe. The first thing I noticed, like, this setup is very contrasty. The black, and especially in the first photo, it's hard to really make things out. See, this was the one with the worst cable management, and it's okay, it's following into a certain direction. It just needs to be cleaned up a bit. I mean, if you don't want to have some color, like, that's fine, but the LEDs, I really like that touch, and I would love to see a little bit more flow through. It's good. It's just lacking a little bit in certain areas, like clean up the cable.
Attention, you know, it's the attention to detail that a lot of people lack.
Joe scored a 70. JJ got first place with an 89. Thanks for watching this Pimp My Setup highlight for episode number 111.